It is an idea that has immigration groups in a panic, forcing people from some majority Muslim nations to register when they come to the U.S. And it comes from this man, Chris Kobach, the Kansas Secretary of State, a highly polarizing figure who's an immigration hardliner and reportedly helping President-elect Trump form immigration policy.
My plan ends illegal immigration and suspends immigration from terror-prone regions. Now, I have to tell you, we're going to have the wall.
The idea isn't new. The U.S. had such a registry in place for 9 years. It was called the NSEERS, or National Security Entry-Exit Program, developed largely by Chris Kobach when he worked at the Department of Justice.
One of the things that we did right after 9/11, I say we, the Justice Department, was to implement the NSEERS system, which took people from high-risk countries and required that they check in after 30 days.
Immigrants and visitors from more than 24 countries were required to check in, be interviewed, fingerprinted, and monitored while they were in the U.S. Virtually all of those countries were predominantly Muslim. Kobach is talking with the Trump transition team to bring it back. Critics call it a Muslim registry. Today, in a text to CNN, Kobach says it's no such thing. There is no registry of Muslims proposal whatsoever, he wrote. The model I discussed was the NSEERS system for screening aliens from high-risk areas without regard to religion. The program began under President George Bush following the 9/11 attacks. It ended 9 years later. An Inspector General's report in 2012 called the program then obsolete, unreliable, and an inefficient use of resources. The ACLU, which fought the program, says it was worse than that.
It actually made genuine efforts at trying to combat terrorism more difficult by destroying relationships with immigrant communities and actually negatively impacting the ability of the federal government to cooperate with foreign governments in fighting terrorism.
The screening of people from certain high-risk countries is just the start of the ACLU's problems with Chris Kobach. He has spoken before groups critics consider to be white nationalist. He's pushed for very strict immigration laws in at least 6 states. He was the architect behind Arizona's controversial State Bill 1070, which allows police to ask for immigration papers for anyone who looks like they might be from another country. Kobach has been sued at least 6 times over his policies against illegal immigrants. The ACLU says if Trump follows his advice, they expect to file many more lawsuits.
Our focus is on his policies and on the abject failure of those policies to respect the Constitution and the laws, and the fact that they've been incredibly discriminatory.